Hi, my name is Ann Cleveland, and I am a coach and a Waldorf teacher with the Waldorf Connection. And today I'm really excited to bring you a couple of tips and some understanding around the block rotations. And I know there's often a lot of questions. Number one, why do we teach in the block rotation model? And how long should your blocks be? And then the third question that I get a lot is, what should the first block be of your year? So in talking about why we have block rotations, the first thing is that when you have one subject for a couple of weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or however long you've decided to have your block, the students have a time to really get into the material. And also you as a teacher really get some time to be able to present both the artistic aspects of the block as well as the academic part. So you have time to weave the material together. You also have time to see how the children are taking the material in, and then to use your creativity of how to bring it back the next day or the next week, and to see what they really need. The other thing is that the idea is you teach one thing for a couple of weeks, maybe like I said, 4 or 5 weeks, and then you let it go to sleep. And that's one of the main principles of Waldorf education. There are many, but to have something, bring it to consciousness, let it go to sleep, and then when you bring it back, it really reinforces the memory in a very, very specific way. So it's an important tool is to let something go to sleep and then bring it back. Let something go to sleep, and it gives you that rhythm. Now the question about how long should a block be really varies from grade to grade, from teacher to teacher, and subject to subject. So some subjects, such as history or some of the literature blocks, maybe fables or your fairy tales, when you're in the lower grades, I recommend 4 weeks as a minimum. I find that 3 weeks is just a little bit too short, and 4 weeks is a very good average, but I've also heard teachers who have 6-week blocks. I've even heard teachers who have 8-week blocks, but for me, and what people are doing generally, is 4 weeks is a good average. 5 weeks if you feel like you need to go a little bit longer, you didn't cover everything you wanted to cover. And 3 weeks in the upper grades, you can do that because there's so much material to get through. It might be the best thing to do. Now, in terms of what block to have first, it's a great question and an important question because it sets the tone for the entire year. So you know your child or your children, so you decide what is the block that's going to really capture their attention. What's the block that they're going to be able to get their teeth into? I like to begin my year with a literature block or a history block in the upper grades, because right after the summer, although there is a little transition period, they're really ready to do some deep work. And in that first block, you want to set your patterns and your sort of expectations so that they get really clear about how you want to do things for the rest of the year. And it might be different from the year before. So it's a great way to set the stage. So I hope those 3 things have helped you. I talked about why we have a block rotation, and I talked about how long you might want your block to be, and then the third thing was what kind of block do you want to use first. And I wanted to say one more thing that I almost forgot, is you can also start your year with something that's going to engage them in an artistic way. I know I've used a form drawing block to begin the year if I felt like they needed that as a transition into the more academic subject. So, it's always up to you, and you know your children, and I wish you well and blessings on your journey.